ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Jennifer Batten. Amazing. Welcome, Jennifer.
Ciao
Welcome.
tutti.
Ciao a tutti. Welcome, Jennifer.
Ciao.
This is amazing. Ciao, Daniele. Ciao,
Daniele's
Daniele.
already into the cafe.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
No
need
alcohol
cafe.
at the moment.
No alcohol, no cafe because I was so excited in this moment. It's really difficult to me. Welcome into FantHome, Jennifer. It is absolutely a pleasure for me and my huge community because we are more than 300 people now. So,
Oh, fantastic.
but it's like a theater. You are in front
Right.
of a theater. Thank
This
you
is-
so much.
This is our
And-
new reality. This
new
is our
real-
new
yeah.
stage.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we have to stay in this situation.
Yeah.
We hopefully for a short time, but I don't know for maybe
Short?
short.
Who knows?
We don't know.
Who knows?
At least
I hope it will be.
2021, maybe at the end of maybe over the summer, maybe.
Yeah.
So I am so excited because this is my first English interview. So I have something to control, starting from myself, of course. The communities, I thank to everybody that are here. It's more than 300 people. I cannot say ciao to everybody because it has too much people as usual. And it's one of the first time we have a woman in this guitar world. Too much men. So we need a woman. And my first question: what is for you to be a woman in this very huge community of a man? What can you
Well,
say?
Yeah.
Was difficult because it seems not because one of your very big experience with Michael Jackson, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think Michael changed everything, really. You know, there was an article in Guitar Player magazine that said there was more women that subscribed to Playboy magazine than Guitar Player magazine.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So it's been very, very unbalanced for many, many years, but it's really changing now. I thought back when I played with Michael Jackson that, okay, the revolution is beginning, and Wendy and Lisa were playing with Prince at the time, and I thought the change was about to happen. And then 20 years went by and nothing. But all of a sudden, I think once everybody could get really good speed internet and girls started seeing other girls playing online, then the inspiration exploded. And now there's so many great players: Laurie Basilio, Neely Brosh, Gretchen Mann.
Exactly.
You know, and the amount, it's still very, very unbalanced, but the amount that we have now of really good players, you know, just wait 10 years and I think it'll be hopefully closer to 50-50.
Okay.
I think it will be. I remember when I started to post my first videos on YouTube 2005, and no women was there.
No.
But then in the last 10 years, it's already, I think very soon we will be 50-50. But I don't want to.
Yes, especially also on the bus. On the bus, there was, when I was at NAM the last year, there was a lot of there were a lot of bass player.
Bass player.
Bass player.
Oh, God,
yes,
yes.
a lot of many days, an example, but more and more. So, so you open. You open the possibility to you are an inspiration for many girls.
Great.
So that's this is great.
And my life is a success if I can inspire people to
Absolutely.
jump on board. And in fact, there's a lot more women that are buying guitars right now than men. Yeah, that's encouraging.
Absolutely. And about how did you start to play guitar?
Well, I started, my motivation was two things: seeing the Beatles on TV in black and white.
Black and white.
Yeah, and my sister had a guitar and I didn't, and I was very, very jealous of that. So I asked my parents if, I guess Christmas was coming up, and I begged them for a guitar. And it was very odd back then, but my dad bought me an electric guitar for my first guitar. Most kids get acoustic, and he already had an amp because he was kind of a hobby jazz player. So I took lessons right away and never stopped. I ended up with a lot of different teachers and eventually went to Musicians Institute, and that kicked my ass. in fact, I flunked the test to get in. You know, even though I had been taking lessons for decades, I knew a lot of techniques, a lot of songs, but I didn't know any chord scales. I didn't know diatonic scales. I only knew pentatonic and blues scales. So I had to go study with a jazz player named Peter Sprague for 6 months before I could go back and try to get into the school again. And that time it worked. But I was the only student there was 59 guys and me. And I was the only one that had never played a live show.
Ah, okay. Fantastic. And so I know that you was chosen from 100 guitarists to play on Michael Jackson. What? Tell us something about this. And I wanted to tell you that a lot of people didn't believe that you are here today, as it is amazing. So io ve l'avevo detto. I told you that I have Jennifer Batten here with me. For me, it's unbelievable, of course, and for other many people. But it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much. Tell us about Michael Jackson experience. So I think is one of the.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to get the call. There was a referral service at Musicians Institute where I was teaching, and somebody from Michael's camp called up and said, "Can you send us 2 players?" And I was one of the lucky ones that got called to go audition. So I asked when is the last possible time I could come in, because I wanted to cancel everything and work on his songs and be as prepared as I could be. And so maybe 3 or 4 days later I went in, and it was kind of shocking because there was no band. It was just me and a video camera. Go.
Go.
So
Nice.
Luckily, I had played the Beat It solo. I had played Beat It with a cover band from, I guess, 1984, and the audition was in the fall of 1987. So I knew that solo, and I thought he might find that useful. So the only guidance I was given was to play some funky rhythm, because in a 2.5-hour show, the Beat It solo is 16 bars. That's all.
That's all.
So I got to do something else. So
You're right.
I played some funky rhythm, and I started improvising, soloing. I played the Giant Steps solo that I'll be teaching in the symposium coming up. It's a tapping solo that's worked out for John Coltrane's song. And on like that. And I finished with the Beat It solo because I thought he might find that useful. And next thing I know, I got a call that said, how do you feel about leaving the country for a year? And I said, take me anywhere for any length of time. And it turned out to be 1.5 years.
Wow.
Not straight. I mean, the most we were out was 4 months, and we'd come home for a little while and then go off again. But man, it was from 0 to 1,000 instantly. All of a sudden, I'm in the guitar magazines, and at the Colosseum in Rome, and then playing in the middle of July in Sweden, looking out at 50,000 blonde heads. It was a party. It was a 1.5 year long party, because I was already a fan of his music, so that part was a piece of cake. And I will say, on these big tours, a lot of people get hired, some people that don't know each other. I didn't know anybody else in the band when I joined, and that's kind of risky as far as personalities, because you're stuck with them for a long, long time. But I will say that everybody in the band got along great, and the people that are still alive stay in touch.
Okay. Well, fantastic. And can you play that solo now? with the backing track?
Oh, Jesus. I'll be playing this for the rest of my life. I don't really have the right setting. I hope I can bend down and change it without anything exploding. Yeah, Daniele.
Yeah, 16 bar. Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I'll tell you, when we played that live, Michael kept changing the key. And I think on the record it's on in E flat, and we kept taking it down and down and down, and ended up in C. So I'd be playing one guitar all night with a certain set of strings, and then I had this Frankenstein guitar for my spotlight that had really heavy strings and tuned down, and it was a challenge.
It's incredible. It's incredible. How long time did you play with Michael?
10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah. The Bad tour was a year and a half. There was a year or two in between tours. Then the Dangerous tour was in 92. That was about a year. And then the History tour was in 97. And it's kind of funny. Between tours, I never even thought that he would call me for the next one. I thought he'd just audition new people. So, and it was always kind of last minute. They had a hard time finding rehearsal halls. In fact, I think it was the Dangerous tour where all of the rehearsal places were already booked. So we ended up having to fly to Florida, and we rehearsed in an arena. And there was a couple times that the roadies had to strike the stage, which was a whole lot of equipment, because there was a basketball game booked.
Okay, it's incredible. So I have to thank also Daniele Gottardo, because only Daniele Gottardo helped me to contact Jennifer. So thank you very much, Daniele.
Pleasure.
It's a
Pleasure.
it's a pleasure. And we will speak later on about your the project Guitar Cloud Symposium. That is very important. But before, I would like to hear you play something else.
Ooh.
What do you think about?
Play. Woo.
Play.
Sorry, me? Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. Play.
I'm gonna
okay,
do
good.
my I'm gonna do my
Sorry,
guitar
nothing.
yoga again and change my setting.
Sorry.
Somebody called it guitar yoga at one time. And it makes sense, because trying to get in to all the wiring in your pedals, especially the longer that you spend at home, the things just kind of get cemented in their areas. You know, I was going to play something else, but I'm going to play this because Daniele was playing something so beautiful earlier. I'm going to play a song called In the Aftermath.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Ooh. Very nice. Very nice composition. Very, very, very nice.
Badass.
I have a lot of comments, compliments, and amazing. Amazing, Jennifer. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Daniele. Wow, I have to tell some service communication. Ragazzi, c'è parecchia gente. We are more than 400 people. So it's only to tell you.
It's growing. The monster
It's
is
growing.
growing.
Yes, the monster is growing. It's a blob. C'è tanta gente su Facebook. Se volete venire su YouTube o su Twitch, la qualità audio e video è assolutamente migliore. Quindi vi suggerisco, anche perché così potete vedere meglio la chat completa anziché vedere una parte. So very, very nice. I feel some of one of your very important collaboration with Jeff Beck in this composition.
I actually wrote that for Jeff when I was with him.
Yeah.
And it got so close. Sorry, I'm tuning. It got so close to making the record, and I was very disappointed that it got cut at the last minute. But this song turned into a song on his You Had It Coming record called Loose Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut in the aftermath, which is what it's called, and they basically took off the melody and kept everything underneath and created a new melody. And he gave me writing credit, so he's very generous in that way.
How did it start this collaboration with one of the our guitar hero for everybody, I think, because Jeff Beck is our absolutely teacher. It's amazing.
I just approached him as a fan. When I was on the Bad tour in 87 through 89, there was a keyboard player named Rory Kaplan that had worked with Jeff and Jan Hammer, teching one of the tours. And so he knew that I was really into Jeff's music. And at one time I learned every solo on his records, blow by blow and wired, and just played them back to back. And so he said he could connect the two of us, and he never did, the bastard. Bastarde.
Bastarde.
So, bastardo. Okay.
Bastardo.
It's been a while since I've been in Italy. I gotta get my cussing back in working order. So when I knew I was going on the Dangerous tour, I knew that we were going to England, and I knew he lived there. So that was my goal, my solid goal of the whole tour, was to meet him and get an autograph. And so after every show that we did, there was always record company execs after the show, and I would ask them all, do you know how to get in contact with Jeff and invite him to a show? And finally they did. It was the show at Wembley Stadium, and 2 opening acts went on, and then Michael Jackson canceled the show.
Oh.
And as it turns out, Jeff showed up late. He was going to get there just in time to see Michael, but not the opening acts. And he got turned away. And I was devastated. So I called him up and said, I don't know when they're going to make up the show or if they're going to do it, but can I meet you anyway? And he was very kind. And I went to the studio he was recording his Rockabilly record at the next day. And I got my autograph. And I also gave him a copy of my first CD that had just come out. And also a copy of a video that MTV over there had given me. I did a video for Flight of the Bumblebee, and they shot this video, so I gave that to him as an offering, you know, thinking he'll probably never even look at it or listen to the music, but at least I've met him, and I got an autograph. He called me 2 or 3 months later and said, I finally listened to your record, and let's do a record together.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, I was walking on cloud 9 for quite a while, but it was actually 5 years before it actually happened. And I thought at that point, well, he's moved on to other things at this point. But he called me up and said, we have a tour of Italy. That's where we started.
Yeah.
Smaller venues with a new band in all over Italy. And I was with him for 3 years and 2 albums. It was an incredible experience. Just, you know, of course the music was great, but just listening to his thoughts about music when we were listening to music on the bus going between venues, it was really enlightening. Such a creative soul. You know, he's got the attention span of a gnat, I say. You know, he's always looking for the next thing, next thing. And that's why he keeps growing. And, you know, record to record is always going to be different and unpredictable. And I find that really inspiring.
He's amazing musician for everybody. I think he inspired every electric guitar player, I think. So, absolutely. Yeah. And someone asked to play What Mama Said. Do you remember?
Yeah, you know, that it's kind of funny. The first thing that you hear on the Who Else record is me. It's like on a Jeff Beck record, you don't really need another guitar player. But yeah, basically what's happening. Actually, I should add that to the course this weekend because people do ask about it. It's basically pentatonic stuff. Oh boy, I hope I can remember it. That's not it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Amazing.
Lord, that's embarrassing me. Well, it's been 20 years since I played with him.
But
I'll get it together for this weekend.
Sorry to ask you, but I was so amazed when I bought that album, and I didn't know that you are in that album. And I started to play on my player, and what is it? And you are you? And so I read in the credits and I discovered that you play on the album. So I was so amazed about this. Very, very, very nice.
So was I.
And how long time did you play with Jeff?
3 years.
3 years.
We did 2 records, the Who Else record, and which is kind of funny. Most people don't know where that title came from, but the artist named Beck.
Beck, yes.
He was really popular at the time, and so people started to confuse the two, and that pissed him off. So he thought, this record is called Jeff. What is it called? Well, who else? Right? It's me.
It's me. Amazing. And what about your gear? Can you tell us something about your gear?
Yeah, for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been using an amp by Blue Guitar called Amp 1, and it's a revolutionary design. It's this big. It'll fit in my carry-on. It's less than 3 pounds, and it's analog tube.
Blue amp is made with the Thomas Bulge.
Thomas Blug.
Yeah. Blug, yes, amazing guitar playing. That's okay.
Yeah, and he was working for Hughes and Kettner for 27 years,
exactly.
designing amps. And he presented this amp to them, and it was too revolutionary because it takes a lot of money to educate people that it's not just a pedal. And it's
Yes,
not just
because
a
it's similar.
preamp. It's
Yeah.
a head.
The
It's like
head.
what you used to break your back carrying a 50-pound Marshall head is now 3 pounds. So I'm using that, and I have 2 different systems for different bands. I'm using an old Digitech RP1000, using the 4-cable method, and I'm using the Digitech just for effects, and it has an expression pedal on it. So, if you hear things, if you hear a note bend and you don't see my hand bending, it's my foot taking it down. So that's something I use all the time. No matter what system I have to have a whammy pedal. And the other system is exactly the same, except I'm using a Line 6 HX Stomp.
Okay.
And when I saw that was 2.7 pounds as opposed to a 13-pound Digitech, I'm always thinking about my luggage, because 99.9% of my gigs I fly to.
Yeah.
So you don't have the luxury of having a big old Marshall head and cab, and I don't trust people on the other side to actually have the equipment I ask for. So I try to carry everything myself.
Okay. But because in Italy, mostly out of Italy, I'm well known as a digital man because I became famous because I use a lot of digital devices. I started with Line 6 Helix, Headrush, Camper, and now Fractal. And but you use a lot the digital devices during your life. What do you think about it? Okay, and
well, I did a lot of clinics for Digitech for many years. I would go to Germany and do a clinic every single day for a month and then go home. So different city, bam, bam, bam. And I kind of got used to it. They had modeling that I would use, and I added other things to try to make it sound a little more analog, but it wasn't. And well, when this Amp 1 came along with Thomas Blug, it's just like, finally I can roll back the volume and clean up the sound. Where you can't really do that with digital stuff.
Okay.
And I have not gotten into the IR stuff at this point, mainly because I kind of got turned off with the modeling in the Digitech. I like the effects, but the modeling not so much. But I know it's come a hell of a long way, and I have never even plugged into a Kemper because of the weight, because it's all about the suitcase.
Okay, but behind you there is a Spark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really great practice amp by Positive Grid, and it's smart technology. You can program it with your smartphone, and you can play a progression into it, and have it kick back bass and drums for you, so you have an instant band.
Okay, great. And what about the guitar? Is handcrafted?
I learned recently they stopped making these, and I really dig it. I've had it. I don't know. I lose track of years at this point. I would say 6 or 7 years. I've been with Washburn for quite a while, ever since the history tour in '97. And this is the first time I've ever had a 24-fret guitar. It's a Gibson scale, but it's 24 frets, and I have Fishman Fluence pickups in it. I have a Modern in the bridge, and the other two are from their Strat series. And it's got this really interesting cutaway that allows you to get really high up on the neck very comfortably. So that's kind of revolutionary. The first time I saw it was with Nuno Betancourt.
Yeah.
And I saw this part, the front of it, and I didn't realize that the neck joint was so different.
Okay. Yes. And also you have the synth, the Esophonic pickup.
Yeah, I was just noticing that. I do have it in here. The Fishman Triple Play wireless MIDI system that allows you to access all of the sounds that keyboard players can access. And all you need is a MacBook Air, instead of modules and modules that you have to take around the world. Like when I was with Jeff Beck, there was a whole rack just full of sound modules, very, very expensive to transport around the world. So unfortunately, that money's gone.
Okay, now I wanted to join the John Smith hints. Please let her play whatever she wants. She's just amazing.
Well, how about
So-
how about Daniele playing something?
No, Daniele play later on.
I'm cold with my fingers. I'm out of practice.
Daniele,
Little, and I drank too much last night. Really, I drank too much last night, man.
All right,
Okay.
let me hydrate.
Yes.
I'm gonna play something called The Swarm.
Mm-hmm.
And it got that name because I had already done Flight of the Bumblebee, and I did a video for that, and it started with the sound of a lot of bees. And my bass player, Ricky Walking, started doing something on a fretless, and it sounded like a swarm of bees, so it is called The Swarm.
Swarm.
Tap dancing.
Amazing. Woo! Amazing. Grande, great.
Grazie
Absolutely.
mille.
Grande. Thank you very much. Amazing.
There's a lot of tap dancing in that one. See, one of the systems I have is with the HX Stomp, I love what you can do with it in that it will change amp channels for you. So you just hit one button and your sounds change, your amp channel changes. What I'm using right now, I have to do too much tap dancing where to get a clean sound, I have to step on the amp and then step on the effect. And it's,
You have to balance the tapping with the finger and the foot.
yeah, crazy.
Thank you. Amazing. My friend Mario Tio from Italy asked you if Orianti and Nile Brosh get your heritage. What do you think about this?
They have their own heritage. I know Orianthi was influenced by Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
That was her heritage. And Neely, I just found out the other day from an Instagram she was doing with Gretchen that it was Nuno Betancourt.
Yeah.
I think that was her big inspiration. And then, just the fact that anybody can step on stage with Tony McAlpine with those ridiculous technique. It's like, I'm not there, never been there, never will be there. That's a whole different level.
Thank you. Come si dice, Daniele, ha un tiro pazzesco? We have to translate from Italian. Tiro pazzesco. We have to translate to what means tiro pazzesco. Tiro pazzesco means you have so much groove.
Yes, groove. Incredible groove.
Incredible groove, yes. But tiro pazzesco is not possible to translate.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but about the tapping, when did you start to use this technique and why?
I started when I was at Musicians Institute, which at the time was only a guitar school, no bass, no drums. And every month we would get a different person, a different player to come in and do a seminar for us. And we had Pat Metheny came in, Tommy Tedesco, Lee Rittenauer, just some amazing players. And one month it was Emmett Chapman who invented the stick. And that's all tapped where it's there's no body to it. It's just a big stick, a big fat neck with 10 strings. And it's got 5 bass strings and 5 treble strings. And so it's meant to be played like a piano where you're accompanying yourself with bass and whatever up here. And, in my class there was 60 people. 59 of us, including me, thought, we're just trying to learn these 6 strings in this tuning. It's nice what you're doing, but nobody's going to go buy a stick. But Steve Lynch was in my class, and it planted a seed in his head to start experimenting with what can you do with 2 hands. And the stuff he was coming up with just blew my mind. I thought it sounded so good. I wanted to learn it immediately, but it was so challenging just to keep up with the curriculum at the school that I waited until the school was over, and then immediately I go, okay, you got to send me a cassette. That's, this was 1979, a cassette of things he had worked on. And I tried to learn what he was doing, and I only used one finger, and I got a blister, and it sounded terrible. So I drove to his house for a lesson. And at that time, that's when I understood what he was doing, and it made so much sense to me. Like, one thing is, if you have a pentatonic scale, A minor pentatonic in the left hand. Whoops. I get my whammy mixed up with my volume sometimes. You can go up 7 frets higher and play the exact same thing, and then combine the two, because all the notes that are in this hand will fit in the key that you're thinking in the left hand. So just with that much knowledge, I just started expanding and going, wow, what could I do with this? What could I do with chords? What could I... and in a way, it's kind of like playing a whole different instrument, because it opens up your creativity to brand new thoughts. And you can also do some really interesting thing with chords that Daniele has taken to the next level. But like... it's almost like this is a chordal capo, and you can just choose notes on top of it and have them ring out. So it's fun. So I've stuck with it ever since.
Thank you very much. Yeah. There's a question from Marco Cereda. Hi Jennifer, how much time do you spend every day in practice? Since amazing control that you have.
Well, not so much this morning, but thank you.
Yes, because we have to remember to our friends that where are you now in?
In Portland, Oregon, in the Northwest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
fortunately, I'm not in Texas, where one of the teachers that will be teaching this weekend at the symposium, Snarky Puppies, Mark Lettieri, is in Texas. And I just wrote to my friends in Texas, like, Andy Timmons has no power. He's freezing. They're putting all their clothes on right now. It's just a mess. I started talking about that, and I have no idea what question you asked me. What am I talking about?
Okay. So it's time to spend the time to speak about the Guitar Cloud Symposium.
Okay.
So I switch also with to Daniele. And so, what is Guitar Cloud Symposium?
It's a smorgasbord for guitar lovers of different modules from different teachers teaching about things that they're most passionate about, their favorite techniques, or even philosophy. Most of it is hands-on guitar, but not always. And it's a long weekend every other month, where on the Friday we get together and have an orientation. It's all on Zoom, and I'll have the students introduce themselves so everybody gets comfortable with each other, and explain what it's about, and make sure everybody's okay with their Zoom settings if they're new to Zoom. And Saturday and Sunday is put on your seatbelts. We have these half-hour modules of teachers teaching, like Mark Lettieri from Snarky Puppy is going to be teaching funk rhythm, and everything that we teach has materials in a folder that you can download and study after the fact. Lots of videos and PDFs and all kinds of notation, and each teacher gets an hour and then a half-hour Q&A with the students, so it's very interactive. It's a lot different than just taking a DVD and wondering if you're doing something right. You can get your questions answered right then. And then it keeps moving on to the next teacher and the next teacher. Neely Brosh is joining us this time. She was part of the original lineup in August when I first fired this up. And I'll get back to the other instructors in a second. So Saturday and Sunday is just full-on modules, and at the end of each day is a full-on hour with all of the teachers answering questions. Then on the Monday, it's super fun. We have a wrap party where right now I have 15 sponsors from Positive Grid to Fishman, Sweetwater, Audix. You know, it's just amazing all the people we have with us. Stage Ninja, Luna Guitars is giving away a guitar. Positive Grid will be giving away one of these Spark amps to one of the lucky winners. And this time, one of our alumni has offered a free lesson with Greg Howe to one of the students. So most people walk away with way more than they even think they're going to. And then to cap it off, the icing on the cake is I have a special guest come in. We've had Scott Henderson was my first one, Andy Timmons, and then Steve Vai was super epic. He stayed for over 2 hours, and it was, you know, most people are not going to get access to a guy like that. You know, and here's 2 hours just for students. Ask whatever question you want to, and it's really fun and can change people. I mean, just one idea can change your trajectory in life and change your understanding of what you thought music was. This Monday coming up, we're going to have Dweezil Zappa join us as a special guest, and in April it's going to be Steve Lukather.
Wow.
So these, if anybody has, you got to get the audiobook of his autobiography, which came out not that long ago, called The Gospel According to Luke. And it's just so eye-opening, such an incredible career. So that's the 4-day thing that happens every other month. And in between, we do what we call a deep dive. That's a single Saturday focused on a single subject. So the first one we did was creating your own record. The last one we did was on Guitar Heroes. I did a module on Jeff Beck, which was so fun. It was so fun. I got back into playing my Stratocaster because you have to get that sound, and showed everybody everything I know about Jeff's iconic style. Jude Gold, who's one of the editors of Guitar Player magazine, did a thing on Van Halen. Gretchen Menn did a thing on Jimmy Page, and including showing people the proper way to use a bow on the guitar. And Vicky Genfan did Joni Mitchell and her open tunings. So you never know what you're going to get. In March, I have, God, there's so much in my head, it's exploding. We're doing a thing on getting the good gigs. So I've got Kat Dyson from Prince's band and Cyndi Lauper's band, and also Pete Thorne, who played with Chris Cornell and Don Henley and Melissa Etheridge. And a buddy of mine that's a booking agent is going to talk about marketing, but it's all the different aspects of things that we have learned being a hired gun. You know, one of the things I want to teach is using the Transcribe app to make sure that you get the parts accurate.
That you want to marry that app. Jennifer,
I do want to marry the app. Yeah, we're going to elope and have an Elvis impersonator marry us.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was a stretch.
I remember the website. It is guitarcloudsymposium.com,
right?
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, and it's not too late to sign up for this weekend. We're letting people register until I think it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time, which is very late for Europe, Thursday. So, you know, certain things are only going to happen once. It's live, and then it's gone.
Amazing. Fantastic. So, I know that you can stay with us 1 hour, right?
Yeah, let me slip in the other instructors. I talked about Neely Brosh's teaching. David Wallerman,
okay,
who has a fantastic YouTube channel, will be with us this weekend. Mark Lettieri. Gretchen Menn is going to be with us. Daniele is going to get into his chordal tapping and talk about rhythmic playing in your soloing. And Vicky Genfan is going to dig into her percussive acoustic style, which is really getting popular with a lot of people. So, you know, 16 different modules on different aspects of guitar. It's impossible to join us and not learn something new.
Okay, maybe Daniele wanted to tell something else in Italian, maybe. So for our Italian guy, di qualcosa in italiano, dai. Ai nostri...
ormai sono
Ormai sono
Parlo più
abituato.
italiano. È difficile cambiare da inglese a
È
italiano a
difficile, è
volte.
difficile cambiare, sì, effettivamente. No, ma se puoi aggiungere qualcosa sul Guitar Symposium.
Beh, è un'esperienza molto, molto badass, usando un termine inglese. E Jennifer ha detto già un sacco di cose. Magari sottolineo che Vicky Jenfen è una chitarrista acustica che è anche un'insegnante True Fire,
Mhm,
like Jennifer, True
mhm.
Fire teacher, and e come ha detto Jennifer, è una sessione intensa di 3 giorni pieni, no, non pieni, ma veramente c'è veramente un sacco di materiale. Poi c'è anche molti scambi anche con gli altri studenti che si
Studenti.
iscrivono. C'è
Ah, ok.
molto, infatti, il primo giorno, come diceva, ci si conosce, no? Ci sono solo 2 ore dove ci si conosce, è proprio diventa una community. E mi ricordo le prime volte che la guardavo come uditore, ok?
Mm,
Ed è molto bella. E il quantitativo di materiale didattico è veramente notevole. E tutto è comunque, tutti gli insegnanti hanno un approccio molto metodico e tutto è spiegato in maniera molto in bite-sized chunks,
mm.
questo termine, right, Jennifer?
Molto
Quindi tutto è
bite-sized chunks.
molto bite-sized chunks. Cosa
È
significa?
bellissimo.
Tutto è spiegato in piccole cellule, piccole informazioni
Ok.
digeribili che si possono, per evitare di diventare overwhelming,
Mhm,
ok? È facile andare via di testa se ci sono troppe informazioni, ma tutto è spiegato in maniera
certo.
molto precisa, molto chiara. E, e quindi iscrivetevi, ragazzi.
Subscribe.
Io mi iscrivo. È
Ok.
molto divertente, insomma. E soprattutto, come diceva Jennifer, alla fine, l'ultimo giorno, Monday, a couple of hours, con il special guest. Ogni simposio si ha l'opportunità di parlare con dei chitarristi storici importanti come Steve Vai nell'ultimo Symposium, Luisa Zappa questo giro qua. Il prossimo c'è un chitarrista che a te piace molto, no? Steve Lukather
Beh, ci
is
mancherebbe.
one of your favorite guitar player, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, 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 of course.
E quindi non è
Great.
solo didattica, non è solo didattica, ma
Certo.
c'è anche un incontro tra chitarristi storici molto importanti e anche tutti gli altri studenti. C'è molto scambio, non solo musicale, ma proprio umano.
Experience sharing, let's
There is
say.
an experience that is not just
Uh, uh,
didactic, but
yeah,
is a complete experience of with people, other students, the other guitar players, the guitar icon, right?
yeah,
Like a Steve Vai. I was trying to explain, Jennifer, that is an
yeah.
experience at 370 degrees, right? Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, we're trying to do something different that I don't see out there already.
Mm.
Yeah,
I mean, we could prepare courses and throw a DVD into the universe, but the live feedback is always going to be different every single time, depending on the students that are there and whatever conversations happen to happen. And speaking of that, I also have a members only Facebook group that people
Mm.
are very active in, and also a free live Zoom once a month for all the students. So I want it to be a community so people
Yeah,
get to know each other because we
esatto.
get a lot of people that are coming back every month. So there's a lot that you can learn from each other as well as the instructors.
Yes, and it's amazing that in this time, terrible time with COVID, we have such possibilities because 20 years ago nobody can do nothing in this situation. Now we can meet together, create some format like this, interviews, online symposium, teaching and so on. So it's a great experience. So we can have the time to reflect ourselves, to make practice, to improve our technique, to meet people and the other part of the world. So it's we have to take any advantage of this situation. I think you have such possibility that we have to use it.
Well, there's an online retailer as well as a physical store called Sweetwater.
Yeah.
That's in America. That a lot of people. That's where I buy my stuff at. But they have been selling 1,000 guitars every day.
Yes, the same in Europe. It's the same situation. Yeah, because the people have a lot of time to spend, so they make a lot of practice, and this is the reason I created this format, because we are still more than 320 people, and we stay together. But in the normal time, maybe nobody stay in front of the PC to see me or other.
Yes.
So it is a very special situation and special opportunity we have to take and to use for the future, because sooner or later we have to pass over this situation, of course. Okay. So I think it is the time to play again, Jennifer. What do you think?
Oh, geez. Okay, I'll play a short one. This is a whack-ass song called Cat Fight. And I was messing with the whammy pedal when I first got it in the early 90s. And I found I could make it sound like an angry cat. So this is called Cat Fight.
Marco Cereda says today is a cat day.
Is the cat day?
Cat day, yes, amazing, incredible. Very nice use of the whammy bar. Very nice.
A whammy pedal also.
A whammy pedal, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so future project?
This is it for me, Guitar Cloud Symposium.
Guitar Cloud.
Is so much more than full-time, I can't tell you. And it's really fun because I get to be a student too, because all the alumni keep coming back. I keep digging deeper and deeper and finding new things about the subjects that I'm teaching.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've actually been on planes flying around the world for 30 years, and I'm kind of over it. You know, missed connections and broken guitars and missing this and that. I'm kind of really digging being at home and thriving on it. You know, when you're always thinking about what's the next trip. I have to pack, I have to do this, I have to buy strings. And now it's, how about just music every day? I can wake up and play music and not travel. So I do have obligations where I got advances to do tours before the lockdown happened, so I have obligations. But I'm, you know, I think if Guitar Cloud Symposium can stay afloat, that this will be it for me.
Okay, thank you very much. Album from the future, do you think about to make a new album?
You know what, I do a lot of sessions for other people. I'm not working on my own stuff right now.
Okay.
There are collaborations that I'm talking to different people about, but right now people will send me a tune, or I did a whole record with a woman named Janina Jade that's from Sweden. It's going to come out pretty soon. So I enjoy that. You know, it's just like, here's the bare tracks, decorate. So it was really fun.
Okay, so before you go, what do you think about to make a jam with Daniele?
Well, I'm not going to be loud enough. We tried this before.
Yeah, but we can try to. What do you think? Can we try? Okay. Daniele, cosa dici? What do you think, Daniele?
As Jennifer was.
Jennifer?
Yeah, you know what? I think we've taken up enough time here with people.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay, so
Yep.
a few notes, and so we can finish our interview. What do you think? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
finito, basta.
Okay. No. Okay. So, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your participation, for your time. It was a pleasure for us. So I hope you stay well with us.
Thanks so much for having me. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you again at NAMM, maybe at the next NAMM.
Could be. Okay.
So we can shake your hand finally. Okay. So
Yes.
thank you very much. Thank you, Daniele. Tu puoi stare?
I can stay another little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay.
Another 30 minutes maybe maximum.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Jennifer.
Grazie mille.
Grazie mille. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye.
See you.
See you soon,
Ciao,
Jennifer.
ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you
Ciao.
so much.
Bye.
Cheers.
Ok, va bene.
Yeah.
Grazie Daniele per questa esperienza incredibile veramente con Jennifer.
Parliamo in inglese o in italiano adesso?
Parliamo in inglese o in italiano?
Faccio fatica. Yes. Parliamo in italiano.
Si fa fatica effettivamente. Se vuoi parliamo in veneto. Così andiamo alle origini. Parliamo in veneto. Parliamo in veneto che sembra...
Quanti veneti ci sono in chat?
Ma quanti veneti ci sono in chat? Yeah. Dai, facciamo questo sondaggio, ragazzi.
Adesso per recuperare...
allora, Mario sicuramente c'è. Per recuperare in inglese dobbiamo ritornare alle basi.
Sì, alle basi.
Per me è stata la prima volta, ragazzi, spero mi scuserete se perché tra chiaramente l'emozione, ovviamente, tra
Padova presente.
Ecco, Padova presente, eccomi.
No, ma guarda che il tuo inglese sei andato via alla grande, veramente, a parte gli scherzi.
Beh, insomma, ti ringrazio, insomma. Quanti anni è che sei lì
Allora, fisso 1 anno e mezzo, però ho fatto avanti e indietro per diversi anni.
Mm-hmm.
Back and forth, ma il mio inglese è ancora under construction.
Ok.
Sono qua che mi studio queste cose qua, invece di studiare il mio inglese, ecco cosa studio io.
a course of counterpoint. Ma quello è il tuo linguaggio.
Studio queste cose qua, mi diverto così, ma il mio inglese è fermo lì.
Ma quello è il tuo quello è il tuo linguaggio, ovviamente.
Dai, facciamo una gemmina.
Facciamo una gemmina.
Voglio sentire il tuo inglese. Il tuo stereo. No, il tuo stereo.
Il mio stereo vuoi sentire? Ok.
A little bit loud, man.
Yeah.
Spara una progressione armonica a piacere e
io sono semplicissima, non faccio gli accordi che fate voi alieni, io sono proprio robe da...
vabbè, ma almeno riempiono.
La minore e mi minore.
Usare fa diesis piuttosto che fa questo punto. D'accordo. Tuo turno. Yeah, man.
Grande. Beh, non l'avevamo fatto l'altra volta l'improvvisazione insieme,
no.
vero? Quindi ci siamo sfogati questa volta. Bella,
New
bella. No, ancora... Ma ascoltami, ma tua moglie quando la invitiamo? Adesso
Bisogna
che
organizzare.
sei il mio cicerone, sei il mio inviato, ti uso come inviato negli USA.
Esatto. No, si organizza.
Però per la
Soon.
prossima volta poi riesci a portarmi Marco Lettieri, se mi porti Marco Lettieri, a parte che
Secondo me penso di riuscire, bisogna. Secondo me
dai.
lui sì che spinge, che a tiro, parlando di tiro, no?
Esatto, ma lui è uno di anche c'ha un timing veramente pazzesco. È un chitarrista molto molto moderno, tra l'altro, molto moderno.
Fa
Bene,
cose, fa di tutto.
Bene, dai ragazzi. Allora, la prossima volta comunque vogliamo un po' più di presenza femminile, per cui Glacier la invitiamo, dai. Preparala.
Certo, organizziamo.
Facciamo qualcosa di bello. Cosa dici? Sì, dai. E dopo vediamo di creare questo filo
FantHome
conduttore.
International.
FantHome International. FantHome Gottardo e C. Benissimo, dai. Grazie Marco, mi hai fatto scoprire, Daniele, un mix di bravura, umiltà. Ma un branino ce l'hai da farci al volo così, di quelli tuoi?
Guarda, sono veramente fuori forma perché mi sto preparando per il Guitar Chaos Symposio e tutto il materiale da consegnare.
Sì, è un bel lavoraccio.
E veramente sono fuori focus. Infatti preferisco più divertente gemmare con te. Se vuoi facciamo un altro pezzettino e poi chiudiamo.
Sì, dai, facciamo un altro pezzettino.
Se ci faremo un'altra qualcos'altro, magari suono qualche altro mio pezzo che non ho suonato l'ultima volta. Non sarebbe male. Però oggi
sì, dai.
non sono in focus.
Tony Raz chiede a Daniele di invitare Satriani e Steve Vai.
Satriani non lo conosco bene di persona.
Okay.
Steve Vai sì. Twin Spirits al Country Star di Albignasego, oddio.
Mamma mia, fa pazzesco.
Tempi. Ma esiste ancora il Country Star?
No, figurati.
No?
Ti sei un po' frizzato però. Almeno io ti vedo, ma a parte che anche l'altra volta spero che si veda.
È l'orario,
sì, dici. È vero. Speriamo. Prova magari a fare un refresh della pagina, magari. No, a posto, sei ritornato.
Ok.
Il Country Star, te lo ricordi?
Sì.
Mario Tio se lo ricorda. Io ho visto, quello che hai fatto Gottardo, quindi Twin Spirit e il Country Star. Poi potremmo fare una rientrée con Tommaso anche, cosa dici? Invitiamo anche Tommy e facciamo una reunion dei vecchi tempi, quando eravate ragazzini e... Io ero quello da vedere, voi eravate gli spettatori, adesso mi avete fatto ciaone tutti e due alla grandissima. Ok, va bene, dai. Facciamo l'ultima cosa e poi ci salutiamo, ragazzi. Allora, dai, cosa facciamo? Facciamo quello dell'altra volta, il giro con in do diesis minore.
Sì, quello che abbiamo provato ieri.
Quello che abbiamo provato ieri, sì, che poi... Allora, vediamo un po'.
Vediamo che suono posso mettere.
Aspetta che controllo la chordaturation.
Io sono scordato.
Anch'io sono scordatissimo.
Metto un suono un po' più lead.
Sì, vai. Fai solo tu la solo sto giro, no? Perché io tanto... Sì, vai.
Non mi fa impazzire questo lead, sono...
Per quelli che l'hanno chiesto, cosa stai usando? Stai usando ancora il plin?
Adesso, allora, l'altra volta stavo usando un vero amplificatore. Adesso sto usando tutto quanto direttamente dal Neural Archetype Plini. Il suono che ho appena usato adesso era un semi distorto, appena distorto, che non è male. Non mi dispiace. Abbastanza dinamica. Quando vai invece più sui lead spinti provo adesso, ma non mi soddisfa come l'ampli vero. Non riesco ad avere la dinamica che ho con l'ampli vero ancora. Ci sto provando, alcune cose riesco a farle, altre no. Penso come suona la chitarra, Axicamina.
È vero.
Cosa vuol dire axicamina?
Axicamina, non so cosa vuol dire, però...
Ferrarese?
Non lo so.
Ferrarese. Com'è il volume?
Va bene. Ok.
Fai che fa diesis minore, butta su degli accordi a piacere, ok?
Fa diesis minore vuoi?
No, facevi anche quello, ma butta dentro quello che vuoi. Sei alzato anche.
Mi maggiore. Ci volevano ste cose per farci suonare assieme. Mamma mia,
Crazy.
ragazzi. Mamma
Sono curioso
mia.
di sentire con la latenza cosa è venuto fuori, perché io...
Vai, io sentivo benissimo. Cioè, sentivo,
Anch'io.
mi sono goduto in una maniera come un riccio. Sei un po' frizzato, io ti vedo frizzato, speriamo che gli altri ti vedano bene, spero di sì. Però va bene. Mamma mia, ragazzi, no, adesso ti vedo bene. Che roba, che fantastico.
Figata,
Che poi-
veramente divertente.
Vuoi spiegare in che tonalità eravamo? Tu cosa stavi suonando?
Beh, una tonalità... Allora, c'erano dei passaggi in cui non ero sicuro... Beh, eravamo in diesis minore. Cerco di suonare...
Ma sai che spesso mi chiedono, ma come fai a prendere la tonalità al volo? A me viene, io non, siccome non devo pensarci dopo con la progressione in che tonalità suono. Tu per esempio com'è che fai?
Ma infatti il primo brano che ho suonato mi alternavi la minore e mi minore.
Mhm, mm.
È una progressione armonica. Vai su di una quinta. Non
Che
è-
potrebbe essere
non è-
qualsiasi cosa.
Potrebbe essere sia la minore come mi minore la tonalità.
Mhm.
Infatti la prima volta c'è solo una nota di differenza, il fa o fa diesis. Infatti
Esatto.
ho provato a mettere il fa naturale per un momento, che è pericolosa come nota su
Però ci
entrambi gli
stava.
accordi. No, il fa naturale non ci stava
no.
benissimo. A un certo punto ho deciso di mettere fa diesis
Ah,
e quindi ero centrato più in mi minore, ma comunque
ok.
sono sugli accordi.
ah, ok.
E quindi sulla minore mi piacciono.
Bene.
Uso solitamente le note 6 scale a 6 note.
Ah, ok.
Tipo quando su questo brano qua facevi Si maggiore, intanto mi piacevi un Si,
Sì.
evitavo di mettere La, perché nei tonalità di diesis minore
Esatto. È un Mi maggiore alla fine, o un Mi maggiore o un diesis minore, secondo di come la vuoi pensare e vedere.
però
Perché
il La
giusto-
è pericoloso, quindi evito di mettere La, perché comunque il Si, se metti il La te a Mi, e se poi non arriva al Mi, quindi penso agli accordi e alle note pericolose. Cerco di evitare le cosiddette avoid notes. Cerco di evitare
Avoid.
note che potrebbero danneggiare il giro armonico.
Bene. Quindi ribadisco, tra l'altro ci dicono Pietro Presti, tutto perfetto, zero latenza, Daniele si vede bene, boh, perfetto, perché io ti vedo un
zero
po' male.
latenza, ottimo.
Boh, perfetto, infatti, Michele Bellini dice, la Madonna, latenza no, è venuto tutto uno spettacolo, no, ma infatti, diciamo, per chi ci domanda, il discorso della latenza è un problema quando chiaramente si fanno delle cose ritmate, molto particolari. Questa qua effettivamente è una cosa ariosa, non c'era attacco, non c'era niente, per cui è come l'organo da chiesa, no? Dove c'è l'organo, cioè non si sa mai dov'è l'attacco, però più o meno tutti si attaccano lì sostanzialmente quando
Sì.
si fa il coro in chiesa. Bene, che belle note sul finale, grande. Marco Baccherati, bravi, si vede, sentiamo meglio, perfetto, tutto perfetto, zero latenza. Benissimo, ragazzi. Beh, allora abbiamo passato una serata, abbiamo iniziato alla grandissima, abbiamo concluso così con questa cosa meravigliosa che mi ha fatto
Figata.
farò
molto
fatica a
bella.
dormire stanotte perché l'adrenalina sarà alle stelle.
Yeah, ottimo.
Però veramente io ringrazio Daniele innanzitutto perché è stato grandioso. Intanto perché mi hai procurato il contatto. Allora, iniziamo con... Devo ringraziare Mario Guarini che mi ha procurato il tuo contatto, perché non dimentichiamoci che tutto parte, perché noi ci eravamo persi di vista dov'è che ti trovo io.
Sì,
Quindi,
sì.
devo ringraziare
sì,
Mario sicuramente.
Ciao Mario, se ci
ciao
stai
Mario, se
guardando.
ci sta ascoltando, che mi
No,
ha
ti
permesso...
gireremo un'intervista.
Esatto.
Te la devi guardare tutta.
Quindi è tutto merito, intanto parte da Mario, ok?
Sì.
Poi
Grazie, Mario.
tu mi hai permesso di conoscere e di mettermi in contatto con Steph Barnes e adesso Jennifer Batten, e quindi dai, bellissimo questo filo. Ragazzi, FantHome è così, cioè l'amico dell'amico, dai, questa è una delle volte dove l'amico dell'amico effettivamente funziona, non è una roba, cioè, la meritocrazia qui c'è, perché poi alla fine vengono ospiti fantastici come Daniele, che per noi è un orgoglio nazionale veramente assoluto. E, insomma, cioè, pensare che tu venivi a vedere i miei concerti, sempre per sé la vita com'è pazzesco, incredibile. Bene, dai. Michele Bellini
C'erano
dice...
diversi posti. Beh, il Dakota tu ci suoni ancora, giusto?
Sì,
È ancora
sì,
attivo.
ma
Ma
tra
c'erano
l'altro-
anche altri posti dove venivo a vederti con Tommy. Ce n'era uno, non so se sono andato anche un posto no, qua a Petrarca, ad
Aspetta.
Abano, ad Abano a Montegrotto Terme, può essere che avessi suonato anche lì a quei tempi.
Perché tanti locali sono anche chiusi, tra l'altro. C'era
Ma
il
infatti-
garage a Monselice, forse.
Il garage,
quello
sì,
giù,
sì,
che era
sì.
bellissimo quel posto
Bello,
lì.
bello.
Bellissimo
Sono
quel
andato,
posto
uno dei
lì.
miei primissimi concerti l'ho fatto lì, tra l'altro.
Era bellissimo quel posto lì.
Molto
ed era-
bello, molto
Eravamo
bello.
a casa
Il palco era-
di Tommaso. Cioè, Tommaso era un bambinello piccolo, era proprio
Sì, ma suonava già a paura,
Ma
ti
cioè, i
ricordi?
pezzi faceva For the Love of God
Paul Gilbert.
di Paul Gilbert, Satriani, faceva lui Summer Song, cioè
Sì.
incredibile. Michele Bellin vuole un'altra ultima. Cosa femo? Femo un'altra?
Il tuo suono è molto distorto ma non zanzaroso. Come fai ad ottenere questo suono? Beh, diciamo che questo plugin qua è più zanzaroso degli ampi che uso di solito. Però cerco di ammorbidirlo. Diciamo che questa chitarra qua ha dei legni molto morbidosi.
Che legno è? Mogano?
Mogano cotto.
Uh-huh.
Poi tastiera acero cotto, caramellizzato. E tastiera pau ferro. Perché il Mogan perché qual è la tipica tastiera, il legno che adesso non si usa più, dai, qual è?
Palissandro?
Sì, ho un'altra Charve in palissandro che mi
No.
piace molto come tastiera, però questa qui non avevano più palissandro.
Palissandro brasiliano non si trova più, adesso si trova quello indiano, credo.
E diciamo che quando vado di EQ, vado di equalizzazione per evitare il suono zanzaroso. Non sempre riesco a evitarlo, però quando riesco a suonare.
Ma hai un tocco così fluido che è veramente flautato, direi. Fai quella cosa che mi è piaciuta prima, che io ti facevo una cosa e tu ci facevi tutti i modi possibili immaginabili. Quindi era un.
Ma quando è stato?
Prima l'ho fatta in Do, poi adesso la facciamo in La. Così.
Ok. Sono abbastanza modi.
Yeah. Passo in do minore. La minore. Do minore. La.
Frozen.
No.
Andiamo avanti, finito.
Finiamo. Aia, Daniele si sta scaldando. Mosso volatile. Qua ho tirato fuori il Daniele.
Mi sono scaldato un po',
infatti,
perché è stato
l'ha detto Bad Boy.
freddo.
E vedo che non disdegni.
Mi istighi a diversi modi, tutti insieme. Mi piace metterli tutti insieme a volte.
Bellissimo, infatti sapevo
Perché-
che tiravo fuori il Daniele che mi piaceva con sta roba qua. Io, cioè, per me sono così aliene, però gli accordi dico, vabbè, faccio quelli, buonanotte.
Ma vabbè, giro. Figo,
Bello,
poi
bello,
c'è il
bello. Poi
timing,
tutto- E poi è tutto bello registrato, quindi magari sai, se ti vengono le idee, cioè, magari ti ho ispirato, ti ho istigato, non ispirato, istigato.
Quest'ultima qua era più istigazione, devo dire, perché mi dici, dai, mettimi tutti...
Infatti ti ho detto...
Questa sarà anche molto più ritmica, non so cosa verrà fuori in streaming, se riusciamo ad andare a tempo giusti, perché
Ma
qui
chi lo so, ma
è
poi
proprio...
spostavo comunque sempre gli accenti, ero diciamo in
Sì.
sedicesimi, però spostavo continuamente gli accenti, quindi così se c'è la latenza non si capisce niente. C'è un timing
Igor-
però fluido.
Igor Guissani indegnamente vi seguivo col basso, yeah.
Ecco, bravo, grande.
È tornato il focus, un po' la volta devo bere, ho bisogno di caffeina. Bevo troppo la sera, ragazzi, bevo troppo, basta.
Basta. Meglio Gottardo, ma dov'è la Batten? Ti sei arrivato tardi, Enrico, mi dispiace. La Batten è rimasta fino
Molto,
alle 22.
very busy.
Very busy. Poteva stare con noi un'ora, è stata anche più di un'ora, quindi è stata gentilissima.
Sì.
Per cui ho approfittato della presenza di Daniele per farci una suonata. Così non l'abbiamo mai fatta, l'abbiamo fatta questa
Poi
volta.
bisognerà parlare del discorso masterclass.
Sì, poi quella cosa lì, non spoileriamo niente, però quella cosa lì la facciamo, La facciamo assolutamente.
Non spoileriamo.
Noi spoileriamo. Abbiamo in serbo delle cose, in serbo e in croato abbiamo delle cose bellissime.
Esatto.
Perfetto.
Io vado avanti con un po' di contrappunto e fuga qua, ragazzi.
Esatto. Bene,
Stile
bravo.
severo.
Bello, quello magari ci fai una puntata su quella cosa lì, perché quello è fantastico.
Guarda, sarebbe divertente, ma secondo me facciamo 4 visitatori, te lo dico, facciamo 4 spettatori in tutto.
Ma chi lo sa, sai, il nostro pubblico...
Chi lo sa?
Pubblico FantHome, guarda che io a volte ho fatto delle serate un po' alternative, ho detto vabbè, stasera ci saranno, se va bene, i parenti e gli amici. Cioè, 400 persone, quindi a volte non si sa mai, perché
Non si sa, è vero.
Io cerco di... Allora, sai qual è il bello, Daniele? Che siccome qua faccio quello che voglio,
Certo.
siccome non ho la fobia di avere l'audience, stasera è andata male, stasera, cioè, a me non me ne può fregare, ci sono anche 3 spettatori, va bene lo stesso, quindi non avendo questa fobia qua, a me piace anche accontentare, se ci sono 3 persone che sono interessate al contrappunto, ragazzi, cioè, va bene così, capito? Cioè, questa sera chi vuole si impara qualcosa di nuovo, cioè, se no si fa sempre la stessa cosa e quindi...
Si può fare
Benissimo.
un contrappunto applicato, si può fare un contrappunto applicato all'improvvisazione, però Vediamo, non spoileriamo niente. Vedremo. Vediamo,
Esatto. 5 comandi, vedi Daniele? No, ci sono, guarda, poi guardi, diciamo, i miei amici, perché ormai siamo amici, tra l'altro, guarda, più di metà di loro, anzi sono quasi tutti, ci troviamo su Discord, quindi poi facciamo una pre-chiacchierata della serata, poi una post-chiacchierata della serata. Chi non conoscesse, ragazzi, e vuole atterrare sul mio canale Discord, trova il link diretto sul mio sito marcofantano.it, c'è l'iconcina di Discord, e lì ci facciamo tutte le chiacchierate, eccetera eccetera eccetera. Bene.
Sai, 6 persone sono interessate.
6 persone sono interessate, hai visto, cioè, bellissimo. Ok, ce li siamo guadagnati. Bene Daniele, io ti ringrazio infinitamente, sei stato gentilissimo come sempre, è stata una serata fantastica e dai che...
Fantastica.
Nicola,
ciao Nicola, contatta anche su di me, siamo a 8,
adesso basta, numero limitato, dobbiamo...
Poi ti bloccano il video perché è considerato improprio da YouTube, te lo bloccano.
Contenuti poco consoni alla rete.
Esatto.
Fantastico. 9 Mauro Barone, vedi, dai che a 10 ci arriviamo, è incredibile.
10, aspettiamo 10, facciamo il contrappunto applicato.
Dai, chi è il decimo? Dai, facciamo il decimo e poi apriamo il contrappunto. Dai, forza ragazzi, 10, anch'io per il contrappunto. Eccolo qua, Walter De Micheli, grande Walter. Bene, ci starebbe pure Daniele in Discord. Dai Daniele, vieni in Discord.
Non so cos'è.
Allora, ascoltami, tu guarda, fai così, vai nel mio sito, te lo faccio vedere molto in velocità. Guarda, marcofantone.it. Allora, te lo share un secondo.
Vediamo cosa va di contrappunto qua.
Eccolo qua, vedi, questa è la mia pagina.
Ok.
Questa è la mia pagina, vedi che qua ci sono tutti i link ai vari cose, c'è questo segnale qua che è praticamente il link al Discord di FantHome.
Che sarebbe una chat? Non so.
Allora, è sostanzialmente una mega stanza divisa, io l'ho divisa per vari settori, te la faccio vedere, guarda, velocemente.
Questo mese sei bello carico di ospiti, ho visto Giorgio Secco.
Poi tra l'altro domani, sì, infatti domani c'è... Domani c'ho il Ton Team, che sono praticamente 4 liutai di quelli top level, Matteo Rofino, Luigi Valenti, adesso non me li ricordo tutti, Romano Burini e Francesco Baldassino, ecco, me li sono ricordati tutti, che hanno un progetto, si chiama Ton Team, che fanno praticamente riedizioni di chitarre, ma a livelli... cioè le chitarre vintage riedette diciamo con dei livelli con degli standard incredibili. Loro sono degli liutai pazzeschi e c'erano gli ospiti domani. Dopodomani ho FantHome New Generation con degli altri ospiti eccezionali e lunedì c'è Giorgio Secco, tanta roba Giorgio Secco. Guarda, ti faccio vedere.
Sarò online, seguirò.
Ecco. Bene, mi fa piacere. Questo è il Discord, ok? Vedi che praticamente questo è il canale dove ci sono tutti i vari argomenti, vedi, c'è l'area social, l'area free, il FantHome, dove si parla della serata di FantHome, c'è la discussione sui contest che faccio, ogni canale è un canale testuale, ma poi ci sono anche i canali vocali, eccoli qua, per esempio questi qua si entra dentro e si chiacchiera audio e video, è molto figo. Qua ci sono i vari partner, se si vuole parlare dei miei partner, se c'è la didattica, qua c'è la didattica, c'è spazio qua per la didattica, c'è tutto quello che riguarda il gear, dalla chitarra, le valvole, pedali, digitale, eccetera, eccetera. Ci sono anche le foto, se uno vuole condividere foto, c'è il mercatino, c'è la chat vocale per chi vuole fare una chiacchierata. Poi ho Roberto Mastro e Alessandro Cesarini e Andrea Cesarini che seguono la parte vintage, quindi si parlerà del vintage, e poi la parte bar dove si cazzeggia alla grandissima, si ascolta musica. È proprio una community veramente di amici, proprio sai come essere al bar e si parla di musica, di cose belle, veramente tanti sono qui, insomma, ci si trasferisce da una parte all'altra finché c'è questa situazione qua, è veramente un bell'ambiente, quindi invito coloro che magari non ci sono, ma a provarlo, se volete iscrivervi siete assolutamente benvenuti, l'invito è free, appunto ci accedete tramite il mio sito. Niente, che dire, dai, andiamo avanti, ci salutiamo, sono le 11:30, vi ringrazio,
Grazie a tutti, ragazzi.
ci vediamo domani ragazzi col Tom Team, io ringrazio infinitamente ancora Daniele che è stato veramente
Grazie a te.
ultra splendido e niente, dai,
Ci vediamo alla prossima, ragazzi.
ce la vediamo alla prossima. Ciao Daniele,
Ciao.
ciao, grazie mille,
Ciao, a
ciao ciao
presto.
ciao 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 ciao.
Ciao ciao ciao.